Today, we're starting on something that I've been putting off because it seemed difficult, but it needs to be done. And apparently I'm going to be doing it the right way this time. So this is my pantry cabinet. It is very tall. And it needs everything, pretty much. We need to put a face frame on it, and it needs doors. But that is the reason I've been putting off putting up everything else. So I do have a tool for this to do the contours and whatnot, so it shouldn't be too hard, but I just know that this isn't exactly parallel, and so I'm gonna have to do some long rip cuts with the circular saw. I'm just not looking forward to it, that's all. I can do it. It's gonna be a pain. So I do have it divided up into different sections, so it won't all just be one big rectangle. It'll be side, we'll have each two pieces, and then top and bottom, and then this one gets its own piece. And that's kind of the divider between the top and bottom halves. So I should be able to do this section by section instead of all at once, which I don't think would work. This will also help ease me into it, hopefully. Because this bottom part doesn't have a lot of like contours or anything. It's mostly just a wedge shape that I'm gonna have to cut. It's the top part that I'm not looking forward to. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this correctly this time, for my other cabinets, I built the face frames onto the cabinets and then the doors, which is fine if you're not doing an inset door. Everything that I read said to do the door first and then the face frame. But since this was my first time building cabinets, I did not heed the advice of my elders and experts. And I thought, oh, I'll make it work. It'll be fine. Listen to the experts. So this time I'm going to be building the doors first and then putting the face frame for the most part around it. What I'm mostly worried about is this side here. So I think what I'm gonna do is kind of like a hybrid attack. I'm gonna do this side of the face frame first, since these are double doors. And I've got a lot of play on the inside between the inner part of the cabinet and these pull-out drawers here. So I think that will help, because I am just mostly worried about having enough clearance and everything on this side. It has to be exact. And I fear that if I don't put this side up first, it'll look wonky, there'll be a big gap somewhere. So I'm just gonna do this one lower left side and then do the doors. So let me go get some wood. That's the other reason I can't do a whole piece all the way up. This cabinet is more than 8 feet tall. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is measure from the bottom, whatever kind of overhang I want down there, up to here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm just gonna go to here. I'm gonna cut it off right here, and then I'll be able to lean it flat against here. So there's a gap now because of the door trim at the top, but once I cut this here, there won't be any obstruction. Board is cut. I also brought up this scrap of poplar because this is what I used for the rest of the face frames. This is 1x3 pine, and I'm using it here because it's a bigger gap. That's it. I didn't want to spring for the nice poplar if I messed it up. But I'm going to use this as kind of my model for where this piece is going to go. This I do want to be even with the top of the shelf. So what I'm going to do is mark. There's a little bit of a bump at the bottom where the plinth block is at the base of the door. So let's cut that first so that it's not in the way. What I want to do is line this up, line that up, and then mark the top of that plinth block. See, the plinth block kind of sticks out a little bit further from the rest of the trim. So I want to put a mark right here. And then I'm going to basically just cut that little section down all the way down. It does have a little curve to it, but I'm not too worried about it because I can fill that later on. So what I'm going to do is mark my obstructions, like this plinth block, the bottom, and then I'm going to mark the inside. If I lift this above the plinth block so that it's not an issue, then that'll give me my marks here as long as it's flat. So that is if it were flush against the inside here, and it does not need to be. It just needs to be, this face of it needs to be parallel to this. So I do want, that is not my cut line. You gotta add like 1/4 of an inch to that. And that'll be my cut line. Okay, so first off, since I lifted this above the plinth block to get this measurement, I need to move it down, up. It's not quite where it needs to be. So I'm going to measure to the top of this plinth block mark and then shift. It might get a little wonky up at the top, but as long as it's not a 1/4 inch gap. This is the part I hate because it's ripping a really long skinny board. But we're gonna do it because we can't do anything else. Okay, now we can go test this out and see if it fits. I do still need to pull, I do need to cut the little bit off for the plinth block, but as a little test fit, this should be fine. Got the right amount of space up there for the poplar face in the middle, and then a tiny gap over here, but that's okay. And then going around the plinth there. I've got my piece. It's cut, it's squared off, it's primed, it's painted. Probably needs another coat, but we'll deal with that another day. So now, all I gotta do is tack it on. I will use wood glue for this because that's what I did for all the other face frames. Okay, now I've got doors that can go on. At least one can go on this side. And then that should hopefully give me my tolerances for the other side and the other door. We have a door and it works. Still not as well as I would like it to work, but it's fine for now. What's important is that I can use this little scrap piece, line it up with everything, mostly on that side with the other door, so that I know how long this piece and the bottom piece have to be, as well as placement of the other side trim piece. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Very excited. So firstly, I have to figure out where that side piece is gonna go, and that will tell me how long this and the bottom piece are gonna go. Because I want the ends of this to be the same as the ends of that. So basically, this is gonna end up being flush along the inside here. Love it when you don't plan something and it works out exactly right. So this is great because I'm putting a cabinet above the fridge eventually. Once it warms up enough outside for me to build outside, because it's going to be big. But in order for me to do that, I haven't really decided if I want to have it like just a box and attach to the side of this one. That would be the easiest, so honestly that's probably what I'm going to do. But that would mean it would have an exposed edge just like this. So by having this be long enough to cover that, perfect. It'll go all the way up, nobody will ever know. I'm going to start with the top because that's what you see, and if there's anything messed up at the bottom, whatever. Just cover it up. So now I get to put up the other door. And we'll have doors. Yeah, in all honesty, I probably should have waited to put that bottom piece on until I got this door installed, but got ahead of myself. It looks like it's gonna work fine though, as long as I'm exact with where I drill my holes for the hinges. Okay, so I've got marked where I want the top of this to be. The problem that I've had with this and most of the other cabinets is that there wasn't enough face frame overhang on the inside, and this has a little wraparound piece that should go around the face frame like that, but there's no room. So we make room. Alright, the last order of business before moving on. I have to decide what kind of handle to use. So in the rest of the kitchen, on the doors, I have these just little round black knobs. On the drawers, I have these long bar pulls. I could use either one of them here and it would look great. So the question is, which one do I use? I was planning to use these, but I have so many of these left over. I feel like it would be kind of a waste not to use them. So, I don't know. These are our two choices. So don't forget that there are two more doors going above here. So that will affect the end choice. Like, do I want 4 little dots? Do I want 4 little lines? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that hard. And the other thing too is that I have another cabinet to put over the fridge, which I'm kind of leaning towards knobs because the doors won't be that long. But I do have another whole like set of cabinets, a bank of cabinets that I'm going to put over by the back door where I have my seeds started. I'm going to rip out what's there because it's not original and put in floor to ceiling cabinets like this, and they'll have 3 doors on the bottom, 3 doors on the top, no countertop. Would it be better just to use the poles on those? Handle or pole, what do you think? Because I can't decide. And I can always change it later. I'd like to have a decision made just so I can get it done. So let me know what you think. I'm probably gonna have to put the other 2 doors up before I can get a really good feel for which one would look better. So you got some time, but that is another video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.